All right. So you've now completed task one, and we're going to talk next about strong reasoning and how to write it. Hopefully, some of this is review to you as we go through, but just want to make sure we're on the same page about our expectations. So, some rules for reasoning. It always comes after your evidence. So, after the quote from the book or the event that you are paraphrasing. It's always the longest part of the paragraph. So sometimes people love to put these long quotes and then little bitty reasoning. Reasoning should actually be the longest part. And the things that you're doing in the reasoning is you're explaining the quote or the evidence, why it matters, how it connects to the claim, and what you think about it. Okay, so those are kind of the three major components. Just wanted to show you some examples of the how you might make reasoning. So you first got to start again with your topic sentence, your topic, and your evidence. So I put an example here with that same theme that we did in part one. So in the novel Piecing Me Together, the main character Jade finds her voice and her power to speak up against stereotypes her classmates, teacher, and mentor have about her and the place that she is from. That's my topic sentence. In chapter 53, she confronts her teacher, Mr. Flores, about not choosing her for an international service trip by asking, "Why am I only seen as someone who needs and not someone who can give?" So this is the evidence and topic sentence that I am choosing. And then I'm going to get started on my reasoning. So I want to think about those three components. For my reasoning, does it connect to the claim? Does it rephrase my evidence? And does it add my thinking? And there's some sort of guiding questions to help you think about each of those parts. So to think about how it connects to the claim, think about how does this evidence relate to my topic sentence, okay? To think about rephrasing the evidence, you might ask yourself, what is another way of saying what the evidence said? And to think about kind of adding your thinking, this is where you get to say why this quote is important or what you even think about this. So what I like to do first is a little brainstorm. And so this is just my brainstorm about the quote that I just showed you. So I said, Jade is saying exactly what she thinks for so long in the book. And so I think it's really important. She's speaking to all of the stereotypes, not just Mr. Flores, but also the school counselor and even Maxine have put on her. She's calling them out for what they've been doing all along and being like, stop. And after she speaks up, she feels a lot more powerful. So this is just my like word vomit basically about why this is important. And what I'm going to do after I've thought about these three questions and kind of jotted down my thinking, what the evidence is saying. So I've got that in here, right? She's speaking up to all of the stereotypes. That's what the evidence is an example of. And then how it relates back to my topic sentence. Right after she speaks up, she feels more powerful. So I've got that piece about power. I've got that piece about rephrasing the evidence. And I've got my thinking, right? That she's been kind of hanging on to this for a long time. And once you finally say the thing, usually you feel some relief. So I'm going to take this kind of messy brainstorm and I'm going to edit it down for clarity and put it in the paragraph after my evidence. So this is the same exact topic sentence and evidence. And then this is kind of what I ended up with for my reasoning. The words that Jade finally says are challenging her teacher's assumptions about her, and also the other adults in her life who see her as powerless because of her circumstances. By having the courage to say directly what she has been thinking throughout the book, Jade gains power and confidence. So I connect back to the claim with that idea of speaking up as a source of power. I talk about what the evidence is doing, right? The evidence is saying what she's been thinking, what the stereotype that's been put on her. And then I rephrase the evidence, right? The words that Jade finally says are challenging her teacher's assumptions about her. So I've got kind of those three components in my reasoning. So what you're going to do for part two here is you're going to score some of these reasoning sample. So these are all you're going to be looking for, scoring them based on three things. Do they connect back to the claim? Do they restate the evidence? And do they explain why that evidence is important or have your thinking? So if they've got all three, give them a 3. If they're missing one of those, give them a 2. If they're missing 2 of those, give them a 1. And they're all going to use the same claim and evidence. So this is a third sort of sample claim, right, about how Jade keeps her power in the face of microaggressions and stereotypes about her, right? So remember, microaggressions are little actions that people put towards somebody else based on their race, based on their gender, that sort of degrade that person or bring them down. So she encounters these moments. She challenges those limits and people's thinking in order to keep her power. So that's the claim that each reasoning will be connecting back to. And then the evidence that they'll all connect back to is this. Makes me feel like no matter how dressed up we are, no matter how respectful we are, some people will only see what they want to see. So you'll go through sample 1, sample 2, and sample 3 and score them on a scale of 1 to 3. And if you see something missing in their reasoning from our key components here, you can write down what's missing. So are they missing the connection to the claim? Are they missing restating the evidence? Or are they missing out on explaining why it's important? All right, good luck.